CTV News with Tony Rima and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Tony is off. This morning, the province announced its anticipated one project, one process framework, which will allow companies to apply to speed up mine development and exploration. CTV's Eric Tashner starts us off tonight.
Ontario is overhauling its mine permitting system, which it says has caused troubling delays of up to 15 years to approve a single mine. Delays, the province says, have been holding back access to critical and strategic minerals like nickel, lithium, and cobalt.
It will benefit every mine before us. There's 10 mines right now actively working through the permit process.
Announcing the one project, one process framework is now
the law of the land.
From here on out, new designated mining projects will be managed by a mine authorization and permitting delivery team, led by the province, acting as a single point of contact to coordinate all necessary approvals within 2 years.
We will take that permit, essentially shepherd it right across the enterprise of government, ministry by ministry, to get it approved within that baseline.
The new system is slated to slash review times in half, but maintains duty to consult obligations.
Efficiency must never compromise responsibility. A shared, consistent framework, including a unified list of communities to engage with, would provide clarity not only for industry, but for Indigenous partners in government as well.
Jason Jessup, the CEO of Sudbury-based Magna Mining, says there are currently 4 permitted projects in the pipeline.
Our ability for us to go out and look at greenfield projects and be able to provide more certainty on when we can move those deposits into construction. And we think that'll open up a lot more opportunity here for us.
Environmental groups like Ontario Nature say the new rollout lacks clarity and wonder what standards will be required when looking at the big picture of the Endangered Species Act repeal in Bill 5.
There's a big risk to our species at risk, and the fact that any permitting process won't actually assess potential impacts to those species and their habitat.
There are 36 active mines in Ontario, contributing $24 billion to the province's GDP. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
Joining us to talk a little bit more about this is the Minister of Energy and Mines himself, Steven Leche. Good to see you again, sir. First thing that comes to mind, it feels like we've been down this road before. I remember you and I, along with the Sioux MPP, were in a mine underground the last time something like this was announced. What makes this different now?
Well, we actually did it. I mean, this is a huge achievement for Canada. We made the announcement in Sudbury, no less, in the heart of Ontario's northern mining prosperity, and of course in the north, because we wanted to affirm to you, Northerners first and foremost, and Indigenous communities, we are going to transform the permitting system, going from the second slowest in the industrialized world to the fastest in the G7. So in Sudbury 4 months ago, we stood together, yes, to announce our commitment to launch it. We've consulted, we've imposed the regulation, and today it is the law of the land. It is literally any new mining project that comes before this province in the future for a permit is now going to benefit from a 50% reduction, one project, one process.
Does this address the criticism, though, that the government faced after the announcement under that underground mine?
I think so, because I think fundamentally what it proves to families, to workers, and to all Canadians is that the world has changed, and so must government in how we move at a greater speed. Look at what is happening in geopolitics, with America imposing tariffs on copper since we stood together in Northern Ontario for this announcement. Auto investment fleeing the country. I mean, we need to be self-reliant as Canadians. And I will say now more than ever, it makes the case for Canada to step it up with a permitting system that is still responsible and balanced, but moves. So that we're not the second slowest on earth, but we're among the fastest. And I do believe we've demonstrated to Ontarians we can do this in partnership. In the coming weeks, I look forward to coming back to the north. I've been up there like every other week. I feel like I'm a northerner at heart at this point. I'm going to be using this new one project, one process power. I'm going to literally announce new mines that are going to benefit from this in the north. So I'm telling you, folks, the journey is always, change is always difficult. But the result is going to benefit this country, and I mean for generations, because we ought not be the slowest when we could be so much better, and tens of thousands of jobs depend on government getting our act together. And we've done it, and we've shown Canadians we can do business, we can move with speed, and we can be ambitious so that we fight for our jobs and Canadian resources.
If Ontario speeds up critical mineral production, like I know you said we will be doing, and I know I've asked you this before, but I'm going to ask you again, are there customers out there for it without high tariffs or giving away things at a discount?
It's so important that we don't just sell to one customer below market. I mean, we see that with petroleum products that's being captured by one U.S. customer because we can't get our markets to global. We can't get our product to global markets. There is massive demand for Canadian critical minerals. Yesterday, like literally, I won't even have to go a month ago, 24 hours ago, I met the Minister of Investment from Saudi Arabia. Nations in the Gulf states, European states, and the Asia Pacific are desperate for rare earths and critical minerals, things like cobalt, lithium, titanium. These are all prerequisites. If you want to build semiconductors or military hardware, you need high-grade nickel. Look no further than Northern Ontario and the existing ring of fire in Sudbury and all the capacity we have in Timmins and likewise outside of Thunder Bay. I mean, we punch above our weight of one of the largest producers in the space with processing too.
We'll be watching for sure and waiting for your next visit to the north. Minister, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Okay, have a great weekend. Thanks so much.
You as well. That's Minister Steven Leche, Ontario Minister of Energy and Mines. The Government of Canada and the province of Ontario are now confirming the funds to help Cap Paper today, 2 weeks after the announcement to idle the mill. The province asked Cap Paper to secure $11 million before they would step in, and Minister Patty Hajdu, through the Strategic Response Fund and FedNor, has committed $12 million in repayable contributions to the paper mill. As a response, the province is investing $16.8 million to support the operations.
I'm just taking it in right now. Like I said, it's been a lot of work from many people, a lot of sleepless nights, to the workers that work at the facility. Thanks for sticking with us and hanging in there.
Blewett says the tariffs impacting Cap Paper will impact other mills like the Ear Falls sawmill north of Dryden, which recently announced it would be shutting down indefinitely. Conservation officers in Sault Ste. Marie are asking for the public's assistance after a moose was found shot and abandoned north of the city. CTV's Corey Nordstrom reports.
Behavior like this is unacceptable, and it is only contributing to declining moose populations in our region.
On September 29th, MNR officials were informed of an adult moose that was killed and dumped in Gaudette Township north of Sault Ste. Marie.
We discovered that tire tracks were coming from the Leonard Lake Road. They stopped, they backed into the grass along the bush line and dumped the quartered moose out of the back of their full-size pickup truck. This moose had been shot, hung, the hide was removed, they quartered it, it was ready to go to the butcher shop, and for whatever reason, this individual or individuals decided to dump it into the bush for it to rot.
Just a day after this incident, a similar scene was observed near Timmins. The actions of these individuals can have a ripple effect that impacts other law-abiding hunters.
What this is doing is taking breeding animals out of the healthy moose population we have, and it's in turn gonna potentially reduce the number of tags we're allowed to issue to legal upstanding hunters in Ontario moving forward.
Sioux conservation officers are asking for the public's help in locating those responsible for the killed and wasted moose. They say anyone with relevant dash cam or trail cam footage who is in the Gaudette area in late September can call the MNR tip line or Crime Stoppers.
We're looking for somebody driving a full-size pickup truck in that area of Searchmont and north of Searchmont on the 28th and 29th.
Ellis says the guilty party can be fined up to $10,000 and there could be impacts to their future ability to hunt in Ontario. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Time for our first check on weather. Here's CTV's Rick Wyman. And Rick, don't want to steal your thunder here, but I'm guessing what you're about to tell us is wet and gloomy.
Stealing my thunder? You don't have to do that, Ian. People have known for the last couple of days that there will be rain this weekend, and we've got plenty of it. Here's our forecast radar. The system approaching northeastern Ontario. We've had lots of rain for today, continuing right through until tomorrow. Rain at times heavy, showers at times heavy, but we may have a bit of a break in the action come Monday. You already know that, of course, but we'll talk more about that a little bit later on in the 7-day forecast. But first, we've got the current temperatures coming up in just a couple of minutes away. Ian, back to you.
Thanks so much, Rick. I'll hope that there's a break in there somewhere. There's more news to come on CTV News. For now, let's go to a live shot of downtown Timmins. This shot courtesy of the city, coming from City Hall down on Algonquin. That pavement looking slick. Plenty of rain up there, and by the sounds of what Rick is telling us, that's going to continue. We'll have his full weather forecast coming up. Stay with us. You're watching CTV Northern Ontario.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
CTV National News' investigative unit W5 returns this weekend with an explosive 1-hour special. Avery Haynes investigates Cartel Canada. The blockbuster investigation exposes how Canada has become the #1 exporter of a deadly drug into New Zealand and Australia. From cartels in Canada to biker gangs in the South Pacific, Avery follows the methamphetamine pipeline and the devastation left in its wake. Joining us from our studios in Toronto to talk a little more about this is host and managing editor Avery Haynes. Avery, we've heard U.S. President Donald Trump's claims about fentanyl coming into the U.S. from Canada. Even still, I think most Canadians would be shocked to find we are a major exporter and cartels are a thing here.
I was shocked when I first started investigating. This really is an untold story. As you mentioned, there's been a lot of noise across the border about Canada's involvement in the fentanyl crisis in the United States. We have discovered by crunching the numbers of seizures that are happening in New Zealand that Canada is in fact a major producer and exporter, not of fentanyl into the States, but of methamphetamine for the Pacific region, particularly New Zealand. There is no place on earth that supplies more meth to New Zealand than Canada. And so our investigation looks at the impact that that's having on New Zealand, as well as reverse engineering some of the really big busts to try to figure out what's being done to stop the people who are shipping it there.
Well, yes, speaking of New Zealand, your investigation includes a young man in Auckland who died from accidentally ingesting Canadian meth. How was it smuggled exactly out of Canada?
And this is just such a tragic story. This is a 21-year-old, comes home from work. He came home with a couple of cases of what he thought was a craft Canadian beer. It had been given to him by a boss of his at work. He took one gulp of it, and 5 days later, he died of multiple organ failure because it wasn't beer that was in the can of Honey Bear house beer. It was actually liquid meth. And when police raided the storage unit where his manager was seen leaving with cases of beer, the scene inside that unit is just jaw-dropping. We actually have the police video, and it's in tomorrow night's documentary, and you just cannot believe in this suburban part of Auckland, this completely nondescript storage unit. Inside were just these towering cases of Honey Bear beer, which has got the little Canadian flag and a bear on it, made in Canada on the bottom. And that is a shipment that originated in Canada and made its way some 20,000 kilometers to really the other side of the world. And what we did is, again, looked at that investigation and brought it back, followed the pipeline in reverse to try to figure out who was responsible here.
And what are you hearing from the RCMP?
Well, this is what you were saying about cartels and not really associating cartels with Canada. The RCMP, it was quite an interesting interview to have the RCMP. This was a chief superintendent of organized crime for the RCMP. They very rarely give interviews. And what he had to say about the cartel footprint in Canada was quite disturbing. 7 cartels are actively working in Canada. Those 7 cartels were deemed to be terror organizations by the Canadian government earlier this year. But this is the first time I've heard someone in such a high position of power specifically saying that they were declared terror organizations because of the criminal activities that they're carrying out in this country.
Absolutely fascinating. Avery, my friend, thank you so much as always.
Thank you so much.
That's managing editor and host of W5, Avery Haynes. Make sure to catch this special tomorrow night at 7. Avery Haynes investigates Cartel Canada, airing on CTV, CTV.ca, the CTV app, and the CTV News YouTube channel. Sudbury Police now have a dedicated unit for intimate partner violence, or IPV, calls. The hope is that the unit will take pressure off of frontline officers. CTV's Lindsay Alick reports.
In 2025, Greater Sudbury Police Service say they have received an average of 58.6 IPV-related calls for service per week.
We had about 3,500 intimate partner violence calls for service in our city last year, which is a significant increase. And, you know, that led our board and our city to declare IPV as an epidemic.
To address the increasing number, complexity, and severity of IPV cases, the service has launched a dedicated IPV unit as a one-year pilot project.
It enables us to dedicate a very specific number of officers to very specific training needs and requirements that allows us to better service victims.
It's not just police receiving more calls. YWCA Ginevra House Shelter has also seen an increase in the amount of crisis calls.
We have looked at our numbers in comparison to last year and where we're at right now, and it's about a 68% increase in number of calls.
She says this new unit will strengthen the supports for survivors, but that ultimately all three levels of government need to work together to address some of the systemic issues.
Affordable housing being a major one, because we know that our local shelters are full and we're a bottleneck because people can't afford to move out.
The unit was formally established in June, and early performance results are positive, indicating increased victim engagement, improved file quality, and reduced investigative delays while diverting complex and involved investigations away from the front line. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
5 people have been arrested on a drug bust early this morning in the Mississauga First Nation. Police netted 136 grams of illicit drugs, illegal weapons, and $13,000 in cash. 4 people from the First Nation and 1 from Toronto have been charged with multiple trafficking and weapons-related offenses. The province of Ontario is investing $3.4 million to help the homeless population in Espanola. The supportive housing initiative will be used to build a mix of one-bedroom units on Queensway Avenue. Several of the units will be fully accessible, and all of them will be furnished. The new building will also feature an office of support staff. If people in Timmins and the surrounding area who use street drugs want to know what's in them, there's a new service being offered, and it's got Health Canada's approval. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
DIY Community Health Timmins has an in memoriam outside its entrance. It's to remember people who've lost their lives to substances and possibly contaminated street drugs. Now people can arrange to have their drugs checked at the Mutual Aid Centre.
We invite people to our office here. It's meant to be that private, confidential space.
The organization has been working with the Ontario drug checking community for over a year to get the approvals to offer the service, including one from Health Canada.
People can come in and either provide a sample of their drugs, as small as, really the head of a matchstick, even smaller we can get away with, or drug paraphernalia, like a used pipe or, other thing that might have, a little bit of drug residue left over.
Samples are sent to Toronto for analysis and results come in just a few days.
Which will allow us to really develop that knowledge base for the community, which will allow, service providers, policymakers, politicians to make better evidence-based informed decisions around what kind of programs we need for our community.
Those who bring in their drugs are told about the results to help them make an informed decision about what they're consuming. Sarita says there's also an immediate testing option that can help detect if, for example, their drugs contain fentanyl.
And hopefully by having that connection with us, maybe that opens up the door to some conversations around treatment, support, or other harm reduction services that we might offer here in the community.
Sarita says the drug checking service supports the organization's vision to provide accessible health care for all. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
The North Shore Health Network is extending one of its closures. The Richards Landing Matthews Site Emergency Department, which is closed today, will now stay closed throughout the weekend. It'll reopen Monday morning at 8 a.m. The salon site is currently closed, but expected to reopen tomorrow morning. And with the weather we're seeing now, the Sault Ste. Marie Conservation Authority issued a water safety statement today. With up to 50 millimeters of rain expected in the Sault over the next 5 days, localized flooding can occur. Residents are advised to exercise extreme caution around all waterways and water control structures. The water safety statement is in effect until next Wednesday. Speaking of weather, back now for a check on the current conditions with Rick Wyman.
You referred to me as Weather Wyman there earlier. Do you think that we have any T-shirts in the making or something? Maybe we can start promoting that.
Trademark it now.
I like that. Forecast radar, lots of rain as we just saw from Sault Ste. Marie. That system over northeastern Ontario, not only for today, but continuing right through the weekend, continuing right through until Sunday. Sorry about that. We did have a lot of sunshine earlier this week. Let's take a look at some of the current temperatures and what's happening across the northeast. Moosonee, well, sun and cloud and 12. Cochrane, rain 8. Timmins, rain 9. Kapuskasing, rain 11. Tell me something new. Here we go. Some fog conditions in Chapleau. Wawa 14 with the cloud in the Sault. Some light rain at times as well. 15 degrees. Meanwhile, in Parry Sound, some cloud cover and 9 degrees. Up in North Bay, 7 with the rain. Temiskaming Shores, rain at times heavy at 8. Kirkland Lake, 8 as well with the precipitation. Greater Sudbury Nickel Belt, 11 with the rain. Espanola, 13 and rain. Elliott Lake, some cloud cover. And Gore Bay on Manitoulin Island, 14 degrees. So, what's in store this weekend? More rain later on this evening with drizzle as well. Showers at times heavy, rain at times heavy. And that's what you're going to get right through until Sunday evening. Ian, back to you.
Thanks, Rick. Next on CTV News at 6. New border security measures are unveiled. 1,000 new guards are being hired for the crossings. And residents in Falconbridge voiced their frustration after a recent incident involving Glencore. The federal government outlining its plans to strengthen border security today. Public Safety Minister Gary Anandasangari today in Niagara Falls saying 1,000 new border agents will be hired.
We will spend $617.7 million over 5 years to train, hire, and deploy 1,000 CBSA officers.
The new bill includes measures that would expand the Coast Guard's role, tighten the immigration and refugee system, improve information sharing on sex offenders, and introduce stronger controls on chemicals used to make illicit drugs. UCCM Anishinaabe police are advising the public to expect a large group of volunteers conducting a search in the Riverside Drive area in Shiging tomorrow. They add there's no risk to the public, but be aware of those out in the community. It was a heated town hall in Falconbridge last night as residents heard from mining company Glencore about a recent incident that left particles blanketing the community. CTV's Angela Campbell reports.
We need to do better. We need to do better.
A Glencore rep stands before a crowd of over 100 residents, providing them with information and attempting to answer their questions about the dust fallout 3 weeks ago.
We're here to acknowledge that there were issues in our processes, and we are basically here to demonstrate that we are going to correct it, and we're going to keep people informed of those steps in the coming weeks.
Mayor says on the night of September 24th, the smelter was undergoing maintenance when the filters got overwhelmed and 1 cubic meter of dust came up the stack, leaving black specks on vehicles, decks, and outdoor furniture. No one at Glencore discovered the issue until the next morning after community complaints started to come in. The Ministry of Environment, Public Health, and the city were notified.
It's really important for people to be heard, and it was important for me to be here as their elected official to know that I care and that, I want to listen to what their concerns are so that I can hopefully be that place where I can try to find answers.
Mayor reassured the crowd there were no long-term health effects from the dust exposure, but residents weren't convinced. A steady stream came to the microphone seeking transparency and better and faster communication from Glencore.
Why wasn't anybody notified until we came to you?
I
have multiple dates, incidents throughout the past years, and they all said that they were going to communicate better to get the information out. And again, they've still failed.
We heard loud and clear we have to get better with our response when these types of things happen. You know, we've been operating here for almost 100 years and we want to operate for 100 more. And we do have to make sure that we get better at responding to the community residents' concerns more rapidly.
A team from Glencore went door to door to determine how residents were impacted, and now they're trying to make it right. The company also hired cleaners to pressure wash the parks and public spaces. Angela Gamble, CTV News, Falconbridge.
Last night, Morocco Mining Innovation Rehabilitation and Applied Research Corporation opened its brand new facility with hopes of creating greener mine waste. CTV's Madison Marier has that story.
Morocco Mining Innovation is using the decades-long research to make mine waste greener and less wasteful with larger-scale trials.
Can we extract them using sustainable green technologies and at the same time clean up those materials and repurpose them so there's no mine waste going back into the environment? That would be the ideal scenario. It's not as easy as that sounds. Every single mine site, every single material is going to be different.
Morocco began in Sudbury as a non-profit branch of Laurentian University, as many of their employees were recent graduates. Today, the organization is hoping to expand from the over 20 employees it currently has.
It means they'll come out of their degrees with that great hands-on experience and be really the kinds of graduates that industry is looking for to get into those good jobs and to take the industry to the next level.
At the end of the day, it's going to create jobs, but the sort of the magic of Sudbury is that everyone kind of knows everybody, and so you're able to pull together. So, you know, Valley donated some valuable equipment here.
Morocco, with support from Sudbury mining companies and education centers, hopes to change the future of what mine waste could be.
The future of mining is going to depend on a lot of innovation, and this is just a huge, perfect example of the type of innovation that we need to, remain competitive and continue to get better at mining responsibly.
It's really fitting to talk about innovation and sort of the future of sustainable mining in a place like Sudbury that is surrounded by that mine waste legacy. And even more than that, we also have an incredible innovation ecosystem.
Mikachuk says a facility like this couldn't be built just anywhere. And being on Mansour Industrial Park right next to Valet allows a team of researchers to focus on the future of mine waste. Madison Marier, CTV News, Sudbury.
There's more news ahead, but first here's your full weather forecast with Rick Wyman.
Ian, thanks so much for that illustrious introduction. Here we go with the band of precipitation that's going to affect us throughout most of northeastern Ontario for tonight and continuing right through. There's more coming in by early Saturday morning at around 10, continuing right through the course of the day by about 1 o'clock early Sunday morning, and then continuing by about, 6 a.m. Sunday morning, and more rain to come over the course of the day. So not only for today, but Saturday, Sunday, loads of precipitation, pretty well the same overnight conditions, chance of showers and drizzle right through Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie, Timmins, Temiskaming Shores, and North Bay, and continuing with that trend in Moosonee, chance of showers, Caphurst, again, 70% chance of showers and drizzle, Wawa, showers and drizzle, Gore Bay and Parry Sound, showers and drizzle. Now the numbers over the course of the next couple of days. Saturday, Sunday in Sudbury Nickel Belt, showers and rain 13-15. Some sunshine Monday, sun and cloud at 12, showers Tuesday at 10, chance of showers Wednesday, Thursday, your highs around 8, but your lows going down to 1 by about midweek next week. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, showers and rain 18-13, your highs. Monday, Tuesday, we got the chance of showers and more shower activity, 12 and 11. Then the chance of showers Wednesday, Thursday, but cooling off, your highs around 9, the lows 2 and 3. Meanwhile, in Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, showers in 15, rain in 13 Saturday, Sunday. Monday, chance of showers at 11. Tuesday, showers at 9. Wednesday, Thursday, chance of showers both days. Your highs only 6, but your lows -1 and -2. That's miles below normal for this time of the year, which is around 9. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake. Showers and rain Saturday, Sunday, 15 your highs. Monday, some cloud cover at 11. Tuesday, showers at 9. Wednesday, chance of showers at 6. More of the same Thursday with the chance of showers. Your lows -1 and 0. That time of the year, change in conditions, change in temperatures in northeastern Ontario. North Bay, West Nipissing, showers and rain, 18 your high Saturday, Sunday, Monday, cloud cover at 12, Tuesday, showers at 11, Wednesday, Thursday, chance of showers both days, 60 and 30%. So again, your highs 10 and 8, but dropping down, you'll see the change in temperature. You go from 13 to 6 to 5 to 4 to 1. Wow, all in the course of, well, how many days? 5 days right there if you do the quick math. So the change in temperature will come, and it is well below normal for this time of the year. That should be reading at around 10 degrees. Let's have a peek now at our pick of the day. Great shot here from Janet Tessier. Janet Tessier, Bark Lake near Elliott Lake. Great shot. Love that reflection. Of course, this picture was not taken today. This came before the rain set into northeastern Ontario. Janet, appreciate that. And we look forward to seeing more pictures coming up next Monday. Now, stick around. I had a great day yesterday with the Sudbury Classic Cruisers Car Club. Of course, the club handing out all kinds of donations. We'll have that story right after the break.
The Sudbury Classic Cruisers were busy with check presentations yesterday to help a slew of local charities in the community. CTV's Rick Wyman now with more on what's driving these donations.
Here we are at the first of many stops that we're actually playing Santa Claus. It is Christmas in the month of October, courtesy of the Sudbury Classic Cruisers Car Club. I'm with Sean O'Brien. He's a member of the executive. And Sean, how did you manage to come across getting the money for so many special interest groups?
Well, it's from all our donations from our car show we had in August, and then all our supporters and everything, and that's how we end up getting all the money to give out to all the charities.
Sherry Benum is the executive director of the Infant Food Bank here in Sudbury on LaSalle Boulevard. Sherry, it's a great day. The sun is shining like it should for the weather. Yes. And of course, it's also a big day for the Infant Food Bank with a tremendous donation today. How do you feel about that?
I'm super excited, super happy. It's this time of year that our shelves get a little bit more empty right before Christmas. So just being able to have this extra money so that we can purchase the products that we need for the families that we serve is just tremendous.
Here we are at Independent Living on Durham Street, and of course here's a check for $1,500, and with me now is Angela Gray, the executive director, to tell us more. Angela, congratulations, $1,500 courtesy of the car club. Isn't that great?
That is amazing. You know, without donors like the cruisers and other folks in our city who are amazing people that support organizations and charities like ours, we just wouldn't be able to do the great work that we do. So specifically Independent Living, we work with people with disabilities. We provide them with some amazing tools so that they can live independently in the community.
Well said, Angela. Thank you so much for that. $1,500 courtesy of the car club. It'll be put to good use here at Independent Living.
Other recipients of $1,500 come from the car club, go to Northern Ontario families of children with cancer, the Sudbury Food Bank, Big Brothers Big Sisters, and Maison McCullough Hospice. Well, major health news for Temiskaming Shores. The Temiskaming Hospital has reached its fundraising goal for a new mammography unit in the city. The fundraising campaign began 9 months ago to replace the aging equipment, and the area responded by raising $450,000. The new machine has already been ordered now through Siemens and is on its way over from Germany. Hospital officials say this would not be possible without 360 plus community donors.
If you think about raising $205,000 in one day, like literally about 12 hours, that's off the charts. I've always known, I've lived here for the most of my life, and I've always known this community to be very, very generous. This blows me away. This blows me away. There's $450,000. I think we were going to be measuring that in years, not months.
Baker says he's hopeful women get their testing done early and stay on top of it. If everything goes well, the digital 3D mammography unit should come online by the end of the year. Well, today was the kickoff of a campaign to help keep Sudbury warm this winter. Pure Country and Better Beginnings, Better Futures hit the airwaves to officially kick off Coats for a Cause. Over the next 3 weeks, gently used warm winter items for all ages can be dropped off at any Palladino Auto Group dealership. The items will be put into the community closet at Better Beginnings, Better Futures and given to people in need.
Every year, Palladino and Pure Country have helped us in getting these Coats for a Cause into the community, into our offices, so people can come and get these coats for free. And it's all for the community. It's all for people in need, and the people in Sudbury are so willing to give.
The warm winter items can be dropped off throughout the week during business hours at any Palladino dealership until November 12th. Algoma University has raised more than $186,000 for 2 scholarship funds. The John R. Rhodes Scholarship is considered the most prestigious student award Algoma has to offer, as its community honors community involvement, academic achievement and leadership, and provides a full year of tuition to recipients. Algoma University also raised money for a newer scholarship, the Community Builder Scholarship, which provides a wide range of smaller bursaries. Algoma was recently named the top university in its category for scholarship opportunities in Maclean's magazine University Rankings. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. A young Sudbury actor is getting a taste of success with his new movie out today.
Hockey This Week is brought to you by Rastall Nut and Bolt Company. I'm pleased to have author-writer Brendan Kelly, my guest on Hockey This Week. Check out Brendan's column, What the Puck? How did that all come together?
Well, I mean, it started out years ago, about 3 years ago. It was originally a TV project, and there, in fact, is a 4-part documentary series. It's not a book about hockey. It's a book actually about Quebec. It's the history of Quebec as told through the hockey team. And I mean, there's no entity in Quebec that has more importance than the Montreal Canadiens. I think everyone knows that. And I think that what was really interesting is to make these parallels between the last, say, 50 or 60 years of history of the Canadiens and the history of Quebec.
You sourced Carl Subban from Peter Street here in Greater Sudbury. How did you get their stories?
Well, the Carl Subban one was fascinating, Rick, because as you know, he moved with his family from Jamaica to Sudbury in, I guess it was the late 60s. And, I'm a big PK Subban fan. PK Subban meant a lot to me. And what I liked about PK Subban was his sense of community. And where did he get it? He got it from his father. And his father arrives here. He tells this fascinating story of how he arrives. As you say, he's living on Peter Street in Sudbury. And he's feeling like out of sorts. He's black. He's Jamaican. He doesn't speak French. There's a lot of French people. He's feeling alienated. He's a kid. He's probably about 12 years old. And then he's walking home one day and there's kids playing ball hockey. Of course there are on the street. And they say, hey, we're missing one guy. You want to play? He runs home. He gets a hockey stick from his landlord. He runs back. He starts playing. And guess what? They're Francophones and they're all Canadiens fans. And Carl Subban becomes a lifelong Canadiens fan.
They've always played the language heritage game. Too many French, not enough French, even too many English, not enough English, now too many Euros on the team. So how do you see this playing out in the future for this franchise?
Back in the 70s, those great teams, probably the greatest teams in the history of hockey, a lot of people believe, were called the Flying Frenchmen. And of course, there was great English-Canadian players like Bob Gainey, Larry Robinson, Ken Dryden. But the stars for decades were Maurice Richard, Guy Lafleur, Jean Beliveau, finally Patrick Roy. But that's a thing of the past. This is not the team of today. There are, of course, some Quebecois players, the goalie Samuel Montembeault, Alexandre Carrier. There's a couple of them, but they're not the leaders of the team like the old days. And frankly, you're never going to get that back. I mean, partly because Quebec doesn't produce as many great hockey players as they used to, which is a whole other story.
Brendan, thank you so much for doing this. The book is called Habs Nation, People's History of the Montreal Canadiens.
Well, thanks so much for the interest and the support. Much appreciated.
Brendan Kelly out of Montreal is my guest this week on Hockey This Week. We're back in 7 days with more.
Two of our northern teams will face off tonight over in the OHL. The Sudbury Wolves will play host to the Sioux Greyhounds. The Wolves are sitting in last place in the Eastern Conference, while the Greyhounds are third in the West. Game time is 7:05. In the NOJHL last night, Cubs forward Mason Walker tallied a hat trick in the team's 5-2 victory over the French River Rapids. Tonight, the Cubs are in Michigan to take on the Sioux Eagles, while the Espanola Paper Kings head up the 144 to play the Timmins Rock. Both those games are 7:30 starts. In other NOJHL action, the Iroquois Falls Storm blow into the Sault Ste. Marie area tonight to take on the Thunderbirds, and the top-seeded Hearst Lumberjacks face off against the number 2 ranked Voodoos in Powassan. A young Sudbury actor is getting a taste of success with his latest role in a new thriller hitting theaters today. CTV's Angela Gemmell reports.
This floating face is Sudbury actor Chase B. Robertson.
It's just really, really scary from what I've filmed.
The 12-year-old plays a pivotal role in Black Phone 2, the sequel to the 2021 psychological thriller starring Ethan Hawke as the villain known as Grabber.
There's a lot of jump scares from the other actors that I think are really gonna terrify some people.
The movie role is a major break for Chase, who's been working at his craft for the past 5 years. He caught the acting bug after taking classes from That Creative Loft, where he continues to get coaching.
I actually remember his first class because he wasn't shy. He was so kind and just eager to learn. So he really stood out from day one. And then from day one, he has continued to flourish into this amazing actor. And now we're going to see him on the big screen.
Although it takes some schedule juggling, his mom says watching Chase succeed has been rewarding.
When they become a working professional, you see a completely different side of them when the cameras are on and a room of 30 people are counting on them. Whereas when they're out playing soccer or baseball, they're still sort of just a kid.
I think it's just fun, just seeing yourself on the screen and seeing other people inspired by the media that you've produced.
Chase says he has his sights set on acting on television next, but for now, he'll be watching Black Phone 2 on the big screen tonight with his family and friends. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
One of the big Canadian banks is cutting jobs. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more on that.
Scotiabank hasn't shared how many people it's laying off, but jobs are being lost across its banking unit. The head of the bank's Canadian operation says today marks an inflection point in the company's quest to build a better, more profitable bank. 2 years ago, the bank cut 3% of its global workforce before embarking on a restructuring plan. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 71.36. West Texas Intermediate crude is up to 57.15. Western Canadian Select is down $1 to 46.55. And the TSX dropped 350 points today, ending the week at 30,108. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold down 76.31, closing the day at 42.49.89 US an ounce. Silver down to 22 cents to end the day at 51.91. Copper down 4 cents, 4.74, and nickel down 1 penny, ending the day at 6.77 US a pound. We'll have one last look at the weather now. Let's head over to the weather board, and we are going to be seeing a lot of rain tomorrow. Sudbury 13 in showers, Timmins 15, Sault Ste. Marie the hot spot at 18, but it is clearly going to be wet. Heading over to North Bay, we've got 18 degrees in showers. A little bit of sunshine in Parry Sound, but not a whole lot. 18 degrees with showers, and Temiskaming Shores, you guessed it, showers, but getting down to about a low of only 15. A coven of witches paraded the streets of Timmins this morning. The annual event is led by Matagami First Nation Chief Jennifer Constant. Constant says the Witches Walk gives people a chance to help women who experience difficult situations such as domestic violence. Around 50 participants donned witchy apparel and gathered at the Timmins Native Friendship Center to plan their route. The walk is just one aspect of these social witch trials, and a trivia contest are also part of this fundraising initiative. Proceeds are donated to the Timmins and area Women in Crisis.
From my own experience, seeing the issues of missing and murdered Indigenous women, this directly is a way that the community can help. In speaking to people, I've seen people feel paralyzed in not knowing how to help. And being someone who is in a political role, I figured, let's create something where we can have some fun and do something great while contributing to something really worthwhile.
This was the third Witches Walk in Timmins. What a great cause. That's our newscast this Friday night. We hope you have a wonderful weekend. Amanda Hicks has your late night news at 11:30. Until then, in honor of Halloween and witches, we leave you with a little Michael Jackson Thriller. Thanks for watching. Good night.
It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in